What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the new movie, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Since this movie is new, I'm going to keep it spoiler free. It just came out on June 4th, so I'm not going to go deep into spoilers on this movie. So in this movie, Ed and Lauren are trying to help Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, who has committed murder and is blaming being possessed on the murder, and they're his defendants because they had supposedly witnessed a demon possessing him and stuff after stopping the possession of his girlfriend's son. And so this movie is them trying to stop the demon that's been possessing Arnie. Like with the other movies in this franchise, I'm not really that crazy for this one either. I had a little bit of hopes for this one because I've heard about the Devil Made Me Do It case. I've actually seen it talked about on a few documentaries and stuff, so I was somewhat interested in this one and everything. I thought maybe it was going to show more of the trial and stuff, and without giving too many spoilers, it doesn't really do that. It doesn't really follow the trial at all. So if you're going into this movie hoping for that too, it doesn't do it. And that's all I'm going to really say that would maybe be somewhat spoiler-free. But I think it could have been a really good movie where they focus like the first part of it on the stuff, and then the rest of it be about the court case, but it doesn't really, it skips over a lot of that. And I know there are other movies that deal with that, so that I haven't seen yet, so I mean, I understand, I guess, why they didn't go that route. Plus they wanted to make it a Conjuring movie and everything, so it's filled with jump scares. Not near as bad as some of the other movies in the franchise, but it does still rely heavily on jump scares. And James Wan didn't come back to direct this one, and it's really noticeable in this movie. But I think that Michael Chaves, who directed The Curse of La Llorona, I think he did an okay job directing this one. I think his directing was better on this movie than it was the previous movie, which I personally like that movie more, but I think that his directing has gotten better and stuff, and maybe it's because this movie has a bigger budget and stuff. And the actors are still pretty good in here, although I feel like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga just were not enjoying their roles near as much this time around. Like there was something off about them and stuff, and maybe it's just because the way the characters were written in this movie, but they just didn't have that same dynamic that they had in the other movies. Because that's one thing I can't deny, is their performances in all the other ones were really good and everything, and this one, they weren't terrible, it just wasn't as good. And another thing this movie does is it does a lot of the stupid stuff that you get in these movies where they're acting like something big is going to happen. Like, this isn't spoiling anything, but in the trailer they show Lorraine Warren hanging off of a cliff and stuff, trying to get dragged down by a demon, when you know darn well she's not going to fall off that cliff, because the real Lorraine Warren probably was never even in that situation to begin with, much less would have died doing something like that, because she died a few years ago. So it had no risks or anything, and they glossed over a lot of the truths and stuff from the trial and stuff in this movie because of stuff that happened in real life. I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to spoil it. If you're interested, definitely check out some documentaries about the case. I think there's actually one on Paramount Plus if you have that, but I'm sure you can find other videos and stuff about it on YouTube and stuff, if nothing else, if you want to hear more about the full case. But they didn't really go into the details about the case because of how it ended and stuff. This is also kind of a weird one in the franchise. It didn't feature Annabelle hardly at all, except for little brief everything at the end of the movie, because you know, and everything, because you know how they put an artifact in the room at the end of the movie to add to their collection, which that's not really ruining anything anyway. That's just part of the Conjuring movie traditions, I guess. But they don't really show Annabelle. They don't really do a lot of stuff that you see in the other ones. It doesn't rely as much on the haunted house stuff, but it does still have a lot of the jump scares and stuff you would expect from this franchise. And it's more of the same. If you're into it, then you'll probably love it. If not, then I really don't have much else to say. I mean, there's not really, I can't really recommend it if you're not into these movies anyway. It's not anything groundbreaking or new. I know a lot of people that even love the franchise have said they don't care for this movie as much, and that they were disappointed. I was like, I don't see why you're disappointed, just starting to be disappointed in the movies in this franchise when they've all been mostly the same anyway. And everything. I'm glad to finally be done with this franchise though. But like I said, it's an okay. It has some things about it that I like. Like I said, Michael Shave's directing was pretty good. It's not near as good as James Wan. I think if he had directed the movie, it would have been a lot better. And the score, once again, by Joseph Bishara is pretty good. It's one of the weaker ones that he's done in this franchise, but it's fine and everything. And the first act of the movie was pretty good. I enjoyed at least the first 30 minutes of it or whatever, but after the guy killed his landlord and stuff, it just pretty much started going downhill from there, and it just never really picked back up. It just isn't that great to me. It's actually probably one of my least favorite movies I've seen from this year. Maybe even probably is my least favorite, and everything. But if you're a fan of the Conjuring movies, you might like it. It'd be more worth it for you. But for me, I've never been into these movies anyway, so it just wasn't anything special to me. It was like all the other ones, and I think the three main Conjuring movies are the ones that are the most overrated in this franchise. I actually somewhat like the Annabelle movies more than these. I'll talk more about that when I do my ranking, but so I'd say I'd give The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It I'd give it a 3 out of 10. It's just not very entertaining, and it's really boring, and Amanda the Jedi said on her video for this, the movie should be called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Bored, for the 3rd time in a row. I added that last part myself, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this boring movie, and hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.